Is this kind of thing where if no one else is doing it, would you feel a little bit silly? Okay. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gita Marie, and in today's video we're going to talk about fall, autumn, winter-ish trends, because you're probably going to see them all over social media, and you're probably mostly going to see them in the context of someone telling you to buy something, or that what you're wearing isn't current or on trend, and that you need to buy new things in order to be a cool girl, or in order to feel in style and fashionable. This is an anti-haul, a seasonal, specifically so style, fashion, autumn 2025 anti-haul trends. What? The first thing, which has been the bane of my existence for a while, and I keep seeing them, they're quite popular with the influencer fashion girlies, it's Capri pants. The reason why I'm anti-hauling those, first and foremost, let it be known, it's because I'm bitter, because I know for a fact that this would look so hideous on me. That is my personal bias, just let me have it. The thing is, and I could say the exact same thing for the skinny jeans are now out. Skinny jeans are, by the way, sort of on the way in again. What? Baggy jeans in, baggy jeans out, whatever. When silhouettes like this come in and out of style, what tends to happen is that things we own suddenly feels outdated. Social media has moved from one kind of silhouette into another. It's the sort of shorts that are really skinny and then they stop right around your knee. You might not wear them super confidently in a year, in 2 years, when the trend has sort of passed. The thing with the trends is that you can absolutely get inspired by them, and it's a great way to uncover and find your own style. But it's really important when we do that we also think about, well, is this something I would wear if I didn't see other people wear it? I'm not making that decision for anybody, but it's a really good question to ask yourself whenever you're buying something. But even if I were to sort of be intrigued or participate in the trend, I wouldn't wear these in a year. And I feel like that's the way with a lot of different styles right now. That is the idea of a trend. Ta-da. Moving into something very different. I've seen a lot of ponchos, big scarves used as ponchos and capes. I think it's gonna be a bigger thing that we see when the weather gets a little bit colder. So when we get into autumn and winter, I think we're gonna see this more. And here's my main problem. You don't need to go out and buy something like this when it is so intensely available in secondhand shops. It is so vastly available. You don't have to go out and buy a poncho. You can find those in thrift stores. And if you want the look of, the layers, using a big scarf that you already have might be a much better way of participating in this aesthetic without going out and buying anything new. With that, I've also seen scarves connected to coats and the sort of very drapey kind of a cape, kind of a scarf on a coat. And the reason why I'm anti-hauling this is because, just as with any other kind of gadget or thing, I like things to have multiple functions. When you combine things together, like in these styles, you remove the versatility of the coat or the jacket, and that is styling yourself into a corner. It's also using money on something super specific that you might not want to wear in a few years. A coat ideally should last more than 10 years. Is this something you're going to be wearing every winter, every autumn for 10 years? Coats are not meant to be replaced every single year. Sometimes you have to, because the quality of a lot of fast fashion that we're buying is terrible. Buying a quality coat that you can then style with different scarves or hats or bags, whatever you acquire or inherit or thrift or sew or make. All these things are fantastic. This, on the other hand, very specific and very unversatile. Fashion is circular. Not in the cute, sustainable way, but in the way where styles and trends always come back around. So if there is a trend that you have participated in that you don't think is current anymore, if there's something you're curious about, don't do the thing where you buy something, you wear it for a while, you donate it, you overflood the charity bins with stuff. They don't have the capacity to deal with all the clothes that we discard. If you have something like that, perhaps consider saving it for a moment. If it's something you really liked, because there is a chance that it's gonna come back in style. What I actually want to say is that don't give a fuck about trends and what is in style. Just wear what you think is really cool and funny and amazing and makes you feel amazing. That is sort of where we want to get at. But I understand playing with style. I understand it. The thing is, I have seen cowhide come back. It's not even that long ago that cowhide was in style previously. For the last 3 years, every time I've gone to a charity shop, I have seen cow print because everyone bought it during 2022. So incredibly wasteful. And it's back, yay, but in a slightly different way. So before it was print and now it's sort of a hide vibe, so like short fur. And it's a very different aesthetic. I think it speaks to a different audience. I don't know. Anyway, it's very much so the same thing, but different. Overconsumption business model at its fucking finest. If you think this is cute, take a hot second and think about what other trends that you have participated in that you wouldn't dream of wearing now. I have a really hard time believing that this is going to be something a lot of people will wear in a year or in 2 years. And it's a resource intensive material. Even if it's synthetic, which means that it's just plastic, still resource intensive. If it's actual cowhide, I don't know what to tell you. I have seen bonnets like the ones that you tie on your head. Actually really cute. I've seen a lot of knitted versions. If you're really nifty, you can make this. I am anti-hauling this based on the fact that I don't know how to knit for shit, so I can't make this. But also, you probably already have something to achieve this look at home. If you were on the balaclava trend a few years ago, even last year, I don't know, you have something with this vibe. You can also take your knitted scarf and put it around your head instead. This is changing a winter autumn trend ever so slightly to create demand for more products. Very much giving Apple adding an extra camera. Polka dots. I was obsessed with polka dots when I was younger, so I had so much clothes in polka dots. I thought it was so funny. I thought it was fantastic. Very whimsical. You're happy when you look at it. If you're into something like this, we have been through this before. You can find this in a thrift store. You don't have to go out and buy new shit. Bigger statement pieces in polka dots. And I think once again that this is a trend that's gonna pass, and it's going to be one of those things where we look at pictures of this and go, 2025. Of course I have eyes in my head, so I can see that it's cute and adorable when you look at it in a vacuum. But the thing is, we are over-consuming clothing to the extent that it is simply impossible to maintain any level of sustainability and resource awareness. It is absolutely impossible. We are producing more than 100 billion pieces of clothing every single year, and the vast majority of it ends up in landfill. It is really hard to recycle clothing, and we have been accustomed to a certain idea that we can just do this without it being that deep. It is, however, that fucking deep. When your clothing overfloods charity bins, it ends up in the global south, where it's just left in big, ginormous textile landfills. And that is the reality of it. So constantly changing up what kind of colors we wear or what kind of patterns that we wear comes with a massive impact. Play around with what you have. Find something in the thrift store if you want to try something, but you can also overconsume things from the thrift store, by the way. Chances are that you can interpret these trends with things that you already have. And even if you don't, you can acknowledge that something is cute without participating in it. You don't need a specific style to be a cool girl. We need to get fucking real right now. One thing that I have to anti-haul is not the aesthetic per se, but how we acquire the aesthetic. Our bag charms are the original Jane Birkin inspired filling up my bag with trinkets and charms vibe. Now that in and of itself is fantastic. If you acquire things over time and you have different small trinkets that you either found at a flea market, that you inherited, that you somehow acquire, like from just living life, taking things, not throwing them away, but using them. If you have jewelry that breaks, turn them into a little keychain. You know, all these kinds of things, fantastic. But it feels like just decorating your bag with tons of shit is kind of in style right now, both with Labubus, which I have an entire video on in and of itself. It's just cute gambling. Go watch it if you're furious, or if you're interested, or if you're done. But the aesthetic is fine. Like, again, sustainability is not an aesthetic, so you can have a cool maximalist style if that's what you want, but you can do it sustainably. You don't have to go out and buy all these things from new, which is my main problem, who could have guessed. So I've seen so many people on TikTok buy tons of trinkets and charms and small pins. They put everything on all at once, and then they have a cute Jane Birkin inspired decorated bag. Well, no, you don't, because you skipped all the steps. You skipped the steps of adding things with meaning. Why this trend is charming is because it is a testimony or a witness to someone using their things for a really long time, and thus over time develops that look, that aesthetic, these sort of tons of trinkets on your bag. It is something that develops over time. It is a witness to continuous use. If you skip all those steps and just go straight to decorating your bag with things you bought on the internet, you're missing the point. I don't make the decisions on how you do things. It's just to say, you're missing the point, babes. Every time I see someone with a bag, it is very clear whether or not things were added over time or things were added all at once. I think it is very, very obvious which route has been taken here. When I saw that this thing was back, I lost my mind. I have seen several style influencers, commentators talk about boho inspirations coming back in this fall, layering with lace and leather, earthy tones, and sort of bringing back that boho vibe. I am quite familiar with that style because that was everything that I was into between 2013 to 2015. And once again, there's no such thing as a sustainable style. Something can look super sustainable and be rife for overconsumption, and something can look like it's high fashion or, you know, whatever, and then be acquired in a sustainable way. So it's not the style that I am cautious with. It is how we participate in trends. And if you're about to go out and buy a whole new wardrobe consisting of things that are sort of more boho themed, let it be known that this is gonna age really fucking quickly. It did once, it absolutely will again. Another thing, if you want to dabble, if you're interested, like the boho aesthetic is incredibly easy to acquire with things you already have. It is incredibly easy to style things in a boho-y kind of way, but be really cautious if you thrift or find something vintage or you buy something new, whatever. When you buy something and you want to achieve the boho vibe, be really cautious about cultural symbols and about cultural appropriation, because there are so many ties to indigenous cultures that are often appropriated by big fast fashion companies. And specifically the boho style just seems to be rife with that kind of stuff. Any kind of spiritual, religious, indigenous symbols and patterns and combinations of color and patterns and fabrics, that whole thing, there's so many connotations that I think we should be a little bit cautious with. You can experiment with whatever style that you want, but I think it's a good idea, at least if you're a sensible, kind human being, to be aware of what symbols you're wearing and what they mean and to whom they mean something. A lot of the boho inspirations originally came from the Roma community, and that connotation and that connection you need to be aware of when you wear something that is inspired by these people. I just look into it. If you're really interested in that sort of style, look into it, please. Buying fast fashion that's boho themed is literally the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And with that, that's it for this video. God, she has a lot of opinions today. I hope you can manage. I've needed to vent, needed to talk about this. Let me know if you want more of these anti-haul videos where we only focus on fashion and style, because usually I do a little bit of a mix with, you know, home decor, all kinds of other stuff. This was so only fashion trends 2025 related. Let me know if you want one for winter, or that we should continue this series into next year as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day. Let me know what you are anti-hauling down below and what you're definitely not gonna buy. Let me know what you're tempted to buy and let us talk you out of it. No, but seriously, I've seen this community in the comments be so fucking helpful to each other, which is fantastic. So someone going, I think this style is really cute. How do I achieve that without buying something? And you guys are just full of ideas. It's fantastic. So share with the group, help each other. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day, and I will see you guys next time. Take really good care of yourselves. Until then, bye.